Hey, welcome back. Once again, this video is for how to export your pageburst highlights to a Microsoft Word document so that you can then save it and share it and what have you. And once again, this is kind of how it looks after you've exported it from pageburst to a Word document. Now, all that's left is you have to kind of condense and organize this into a form that's easily read. And you can see as of right now, this is going to be quite a few pages because it's not very condensed and it has all of this extra green lines in the middle. And let's see how many pages it is at the very bottom. It says something like, I don't even know if it says it. I think I saw it somewhere and it showed that it was 8 pages long. Yeah, 8 pages, 9 pages, 10 pages long. And so that's a lot, but most of that is because this isn't in a very condensed form. So here's what I would recommend for you. Is first, if you hit Control A, it highlights everything that's in the document. And I mean everything that's in there is in the document. So then I come over here, hit Paragraph, and by default, it adds extra space. So I'm going to say I don't want any extra spacing before or after, and I want my line spacings to be single. So we're making it as condensed as we possibly can. And so automatically, here, let's see, we took it down from 10 pages to, what was that, 6 pages is I think what's flashing in and out there. So that saved quite a bit. Now the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take out all these funky little green lines, and I'll show you how to do that. If you hit Control F, and what this is a finding prompt, and you can do find or replace. And I'm going to say replace. I'm going to say replace. I'm going to say more, and I'm going to say the word that is the same word as here, which is communication. And that's going to be different for whatever chapter that you're in. Communication. And I'm not going to put anything in here for replace. And I'm going to say find next. And it found this one right here. That's the first one that it found. And if you see, underneath each one of these, it has a little R with an underline underneath it. So that means that if you want to replace that with nothing, basically, then you would press R. It says, do you want to search the remainder document? I hit yes. So I'm going to say, and I don't want to replace that one because this one is actually part of the document. So I'm going to say find next. I do want to replace that one, so I hit R. Don't want to replace that one. Do, don't, do. And all I'm doing here is I'm just hitting the R button if it's something that I want to delete and I don't want to delete that. And it's actually a pretty painless process, and actually I want to undo what I just did. Accident, and all I did was hit Control Z, and that undoes what I just did. And then I'm going to go back to my Control F, and I'm going to say find next. I'm going to hit R. I don't want to replace that, R. So just look to see what it is that you're deleting before you do that. I don't want to do that one. See, I messed up again, so I'm going to hit Control Z, and that'll make it better. Hit Control F, and you get the gist of that. Okay, so all that I've done here is I've gone through and I've deleted out everywhere except for that one where it says communication. You can do it manually like that, and just where I just hit the back button, or you can do it like that where I just hit the delete button. I highlighted it and then hit delete. I'm trying to show you the easiest way that I've found to do it. Okay, and next what you're going to do is you're going to click right here on one of these green lines and just hit your delete button. Okay, and all that's going to do is delete all those green lines, and you can leave them there if you really want to, but I don't like them and it doesn't make for very good reading. All that's doing is just deleting out those lines. So I've just gone through here and I've deleted out all of those green lines. So you're basically down to all the information that you have here, and you'll see that we've gone from 10 pages down to, and I'm showing right here, it kind of flashes in and out the number of pages as I'm scrolling down, as I'm on page 3, section 1. So we've condensed this down from 5 pages to, from 10 pages all the way down to 3 pages worth of notes, and that sure does beat a 60-page chapter. So, and this isn't absolutely necessary, but what I like to do is I like to take, after each section heading, like this one here, like this one here, I like to press this little button here. That just gives me a little dot in front of everything, and all that does is it shows that that's a new highlight that I've done there. So in that case, that was probably the one I just did right there. That's probably part of a box of some sort. So I would go down to like this section here, and if I hit this little button here that says bullets, then I can see that's 3 different highlights that I did there. And so I'm going all the way down through here, and I'm saying, okay, that, and this doesn't take very long, maybe 10 minutes or so is what I've clocked myself at going through. And so it just makes for a lot easier reading for the people that you're actually trying to read with, or you're trying to share this with. And you can see that keeping the column heading actually, or the paragraph heading actually does make for a lot nicer reading here. So you can see that this section was clarifying. This is to check, see whether understanding is accurate, restate, blah 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 blah. So, and just by adding these extra bullet heads, you can see, okay, that's 2 different highlights that he took of that section. So really, in a nutshell, that's about all there is to it after you get down and you've done all of these. And that's, like I said, those bullets aren't even that necessary, but it sure does make for a much nicer reading. Then all that's left is what you have here, which is just raw data. So you have to keep in mind that whenever a person writes a book, they don't just automatically come out and say, okay, I need to include a paragraph about this, about that, about this. What they start with is they start with an idea, a section. So I need to include a section about active listening, and so then they're going to list all the different things that they can find about active listening. And then what they're going to do is they're going to say, okay, I'm going to put in some statistics in the middle, I'm going to put in some examples, I'm going to put in some of my commentary about active listening, and then that's going to be everything about active listening. Even though what our responsibility is to get down to their notes, the things that they said that they actually had to be added to it, which is probably can be summarized in 1 or 2 sentences, sometimes 3 sentences for some paragraphs, depending on how long it is. So in sharing observations, this is what I came up with for sharing observations. Okay, now I also did show you that you would save this, and then this is actually what you would send out to all the rest of the people in your group. It takes a little bit more time to take notes in the chapter, but as you can see, you're actually paying attention to the chapter a lot better as you're going through. It's more than just reading past a sentence. You're considering, okay, is this useful information? Is this something that I should include in my notes, and thereby including it in my memory banks in my brain, so that whenever I have that test, is this something that could be on that test? So you'll find that any chapter that you highlight, that you're going to understand that chapter extremely well. So what I would recommend is in a reading group, most of the time you have you have 3 or 4 different books that we read from. One of those is Potter and Perry. Gene Giddens. Another one is Sharon Lewis, Medical Surgical Nursing. But you'll find that the readings that we're given are all the same topics. So this week you'll have a chapter out of Medical Surg. You'll have a chapter out of Potter and Perry. You'll have a chapter out of Gene Giddens. But you find, okay, all of those are about communication, or all of those are about whatever the topic is for nutrition. It could be elimination. It could be anything. So what you should probably do as a reading group is divide it up so that, okay, you have to read this chapter about nutrition. Okay, you, a different student, has to read this chapter about nutrition. Okay, this other student has to read this chapter about nutrition. That way you all have a chance to read a chapter about nutrition, and you're not just depending on everybody else's notes. Now, what I was trying to show you before is we may get to a point to where we can just share our highlighters. All I did is I went from where I was at here in titles, and I clicked on the highlighter that we created. And you may be able to just share these highlighters, and I'll have to figure out exactly how to share those highlighters. That way, whenever you're reading down through, whenever you go to back to your titles, instead of depending on somebody else's notes they were able to create in Microsoft Word, well, you could actually go through and see, okay, well, what did they include in this section? What did they not include in this section? Is there anything that I see that they wouldn't have, that they should have included? And so instead of getting a summarization of everything that they did include, you also are able to go down through here and see everything they didn't include. So which can actually be very helpful. Maybe you might like to go through and you wanted to include this sentence also, which that's great. You can go through and include it yourself. So you can see in this paragraph, I didn't feel like including very much for providing information. I kind of summarize it up in those two sentences. Some things I just feel like it's very explanatory, and I understood it before you ever put it into a sentence. Like, for instance, this sentence here: providing relevant information tells other people what they need to know or what they want to know, so they are able to make decisions, experience less anxiety, and feel safe and secure. I know that that's the reason why you provide relevant information, is to give other people information. That sentence to me seemed absolutely useless. It's filler information. So those are the kind of things that you want to leave out, or maybe that's something that you felt relevant. Maybe you just wanted to include a portion of that sentence, maybe just this portion right here. But the point of the matter is if you share up the reading amongst other people, then you don't have to read 20 chapters in order to get ready for this test. You read your 4 or 5 chapters, and then you do your highlighting on it, and you kind of almost become an authority on that chapter after you've done your highlighting, if you've done it properly. So that's the reason why I suggest that if you have 3 chapters in nutrition, that 3 different students read one of those chapters. So that way you're all going to get an understanding of it. The other thing is that you have to take good notes, and this is by far the easiest way that I've seen to take notes. It involves little if no typing, no writing work, and it takes me just about as long to go through and highlight as it does just to read the chapter word for word. So in creating a study group, I'm trying to get one going here. I have several people that have been interested in it, and they just really wanted to go through and see how it is that they should take notes and how it is to share. Write me back if there's anything else that you need to know about it. You have my number, you have my email. So just write me back if there's any other questions, and if we need to go through any other explanations on this, I can create another video or two or what have you. But hope you've enjoyed it, and hope this has been very useful for you.